Welcome to our QFAA podcast interview series. Today we have our guest, Jonathan Wong, who is class 2010, and he's one of my best friend and classmate. So welcome, Jonathan. Thank you to be our guest today.
No problem.
First of all, maybe every time we start with some background. Where did you grow up, and maybe briefly introduce your background before you went to HKUST?
Yeah, sure. I grew up in Hong Kong. I'm born and bred in Hong Kong, but then I went to Canada for high school for a few years, and then I decided to return to Hong Kong for the QA program. So there I am now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have a family and children now?
Yes, I do. So me and my wife now live in Abu Dhabi, and we have two sons, and one of my sons just born two months ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's why he's here today in
Yes.
Hong Kong.
Yes.
Okay. And so today our topic is actually very special. We will be talking about sovereign wealth fund and also equity trading. So maybe briefly explain, without putting out the name, a bit of a background, what you have been doing after graduation in the past 15 years.
Yeah, so after graduation, I joined Nomura for the analyst program in international program trading. And after 2 years of working in Nomura, which is sell side, and I have this wonderful opportunity to join a sovereign wealth fund in the Middle East for the past 12 years. So I've been working as an equity trader for almost my entire career so far.
Wow. Okay. So that's why we'll be talking a lot about equity trading and also about working in a sovereign wealth fund. Maybe to start with, can you help us to understand equity trading? What is the difference between the trading in sell side, because you started in Nomura,
Yeah.
and also equity trading in buy side? What are the major responsibilities and differences?
Yeah. So when I started in the sales side, I'm more as a broker than someone that actually who manages a pool of money. So in the sales side, you usually work under a function called execution services, or if you're in derivatives, then you'll be making market for your clients. So, and then in the buy side, which where I am right now, you have two distinguished types of buy side, which you can act as a asset managers or an asset owner. So if at the moment I'm working in a sovereign wealth fund, which is an asset owner rather than an asset managers.
Okay, so that's a major difference. How about in terms of actual job duties? You still trade, right? But then
yes,
trading
yes.
on behalf of client or trading on the company's book,
Yes.
how does it differ?
The major difference is we still follow instructions and orders.
Okay.
But then we do have a lot more discretion and flexibility in how we want to execute our orders and where the orders should go to. In terms of what a sell side trader do is usually matching clients' orders and finding liquidity for the clients. So as a buy side trader, your job is more about where you can find liquidity and where you think you can best execute your order, or how it suits your portfolio manager's needs or your fund's needs. So that's the biggest distinguish the factors between the two different roles.
Is it fair to say that it should be more stressful to work in the buy side because actually the P&L matters more? Rather, if you are in sell side, if you have a poor execution, you lose one client, you always have another 100 clients.
Yes, I would say it's more actually the contrary, because
Oh, really?
because you do have a lot more P&L pressure on if you're on the buy side, but
Yes.
then on the sell side is more, the pressure is actually handling the clients, handling the relationship, and then also the competition within the sell side trading floor is a lot more severe than the buy side. Maybe it's just lucky that the place that I worked is fairly I wouldn't say relaxed, but
Yeah.
then it's things are much more straightforward, and there's not a lot of internal politics for me to handle. But I've worked in different sales side trading floor when I was in Hong Kong while I did different internships. So I think, or maybe just a factor of being in Hong Kong. So whether like now I don't live in Hong Kong, I don't work in Hong Kong. So
Sure.
the atmosphere and the pressure is a lot different. Like the numbers that I deal with are astronomical numbers.
Yeah.
But then the pressure is actually a lot more less. Whether it's a function of good practices that our firm had,
Sure.
or just me getting more experience, which I doubt.
Yeah.
but maybe it's a factor of both. I would say.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. How about the challenges of trading for sovereign wealth fund versus smaller size fund? I think the major difference is that the order size you're dealing with are like maybe tens, hundred, or like many
Yeah.
times bigger, right?
Yeah, or I would say that is like, yeah, then it's where the job of the equity trader actually comes in, is in helping the fund
Sure.
to find best executions, where it's good liquidity, like how do you find hidden liquidity in the market, and who are the person that you need to call in order to execute
Sure.
your order. These are the things that, as I slowly develop in my career and having the right relationship and right contacts, and will be able to do my job. Like, not saying I do it well, but then I can do it.
Does that mean that if you are a smaller fund, because that liquidity requirement seeking is not as important, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that definitely. If your footprint is not as big, then very likely you can get things done
In market, right?
in the market
Fairly
very,
easy, yeah.
like maybe in a few hours, or just in a touch, or you can just call up someone to give you a risk price
Sure.
to be able to get things done
Sure.
fairly quickly. And
Sure.
then I think the major challenge is working in sovereign wealth fund. It's when we trade, there could be a global portfolio impact. I'm not saying like when we trade we'll make a footprint to move the global market,
Sure.
but then there are different moving parts from a global asset allocation perspective. Then there are relative performance that we need to look after, or need to be careful, or certain cash flow requirement that we need to have. These are the things that makes the job a bit more complicated. And where when I work in Hong Kong, I worked under portfolio trading, so then I have the expertise, not necessarily expertise, but the experience to handle trades that across multiple market, different time zones. Yeah.
Great. Okay. So what are the key characteristics or key traits of a good trader in your opinion?
I think someone that needs to be able to have good communication skills is the utmost important, because you're either constantly on the phone or on the chat, communicating with a lot of different people. Even like we previously mentioned, to sales side brokers, or your own portfolio managers, your internal operations, also IT. So you need to be able to communicate with different types of people effectively to get things done and resolved in a quick manner. So I think the most important is communication skills, and then it's how do you be able to think on your own feet when things gone wrong. So now a lot of the equity trading is actually under electronic trading.
Yes.
So if the software platform has gone down, how do you just have a calm mind and not too stress about things?
Yeah.
And be able to understand the exact figures that you need to execute, or what are the risks that will impose in the next few hours until the system comes up. These are the key traits on that a good trader needs to exhibit, like in the 21st century, I would say.
It's almost like a pilot. You have an autopilot system,
Exactly.
but then pilot is still very important.
Exactly.
When things goes wrong, right?
100%.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Great. Okay. How about your daily routine? How does it look like for equity trader?
Yeah.
Maybe especially for you because you trade in Asian hour.
Yes, I
right?
trade in Asian hours, but I don't live in Hong Kong, so
Yes.
I'm normally getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Or sometimes earlier because I covered like Australia, Japan as well. Those would be earlier. I get up and then so lucky enough I can work from home.
Sure.
So I can log in and make sure things are okay, the orders are placed, and then like catch up on overnight news and how the US moved the night before, and then start making sure when market open, then okay, I need to make sure things are executing, and then while things are okay, calm down, then I can have my deep reading on certain research that I'm interested in and help me to understand the market better. And then later on, there will be phone calls, people flagging me on certain market color, what's going on the day, and why market moves certain ways, and then and that's basically how it goes until market shut. Then I will sort out some operation issues, and then yeah, then I go home and then keep an eye on my phones just in case if there's any ECM activities that we need to participate in. Yeah, so that's pretty much my day. Yeah.
Okay. There's a myth that in trading floor, the traders they can't even go to toilet during trading hour.
Well,
Is that true?
when I was in sales side, like it's pretty much frowned upon because
Yeah.
but I think these days things change. But in the buy side, yes, you try to delegate things.
Okay.
And then yeah, I think once you're in the buy side, you can delegate things. And as you are becoming more and more senior, then you can be off the desk more and more. So I guess that's the perk of getting a promotion in being a trader. As
You can go to toilet.
Senior, you can go to the bathroom, or sometimes you can go to the gym.
Okay, yeah, sounds like a myth.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the structure of a sovereign wealth fund? How does it look different from a normal buy side firm?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question, and I previously mentioned like buy side is two big types. One is the asset owner, one is the asset manager.
Sure.
So as a sovereign wealth fund, which categorized as
Asset owner, right? Yes.
then every sovereign wealth fund is it's structured very very differently. But then in general, usually it's being structured as different asset class.
Oh, asset classes.
Yeah,
Okay.
by
Different teams.
asset class.
Okay.
Then you have different teams that is responsible for different asset class,
Sure.
and then you will have one team that does the overall asset allocation.
Yeah.
And then the asset allocator will allocate the weight of the different asset class, and then you have the asset class team to manage the asset class that being the weight of that asset class being allocated.
Sure.
So yeah.
So there's like a big asset allocation committee and then
Correct,
different
yeah.
asset.
Yeah.
How about internal versus external?
And
How does
as
it?
in-
Because you also outsource money to external managers, right?
yes. That is very different fund by fund, so I can't say in general. Some funds tends to be 100% externally managed, and then you have the asset allocated. Some funds are 50-50. So the firm that I work for is more half and half.
Half and half.
Yeah.
But then the external one are managed very separately from an asset allocation committee.
Correct. Yeah.
So basically, the individual asset class that you work for actually does not involve any external manager.
Well, actually, like the asset class that I work for, I work for listed equities in the department that I work for. Actually, do invest externally and internally as well.
I see.
Yeah.
So actually, it's on the individual asset class, and then you allocate between internal, external.
Correct.
Okay. And apparently, the technology has changed, evolved very fast in the finance industry.
Yeah.
How does it? What is the difference maybe trading in the 2025 versus 2015? How did the technology actually changed the way you work?
Surprisingly, I think the way that I work on the surface didn't really change much since I started working in 2011. Like I would have a trading system that is in front of me, then I
Sure.
would have a pool of different algorithms for me to select. But then the real, like from a front end perspective, the innovation is not didn't really catch up too much in the past 15 years. But what really changed is the back end and the analytics and
okay.
the data platform that is behind the front end that is driving the algorithm. So on the surface, nothing really changed.
So the way you handle orders, the way
The
you
workflow
is actually
like,
still the same,
yes,
right?
like maybe the major innovation that I have seen is really something called Algo Wheel. It's an
Algo Wheel,
automated platform for to help buy-side traders to select different algo and then
Algos.
help them to analyze performances. But then really, is there anything that like an LLM model that can help me to do certain things quicker, pulling out data quicker? Like I haven't seen
Not yet, maybe.
that
Yeah,
yet.
right.
Like in terms of real AI, or maybe you call it AI or call it machine learning, data science, being applied to algorithm, absolutely yes. Like in terms of how
So those algorithms are like more AI.
AI, not necessarily the AI that
Not the
see,
LLM, right?
yeah, not AI we see now,
Yeah.
but then those mathematics or those analytics has been in the industry for maybe 15 to 20 years,
Yeah.
and now it's just with the abundance of the data and the calculations, you can do a lot of calculation a lot quicker so that the algorithm can make these decisions in real time. But then really how the industry has changed from a human relationship point of view, I don't think a lot changed in the past 10, 15 years.
It's like the analogy we have for pilots, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The autopilot system is pretty good already.
Yeah.
But we have not seen any change in how the
Exactly.
pilot operates.
Exactly.
You still need to learn how to fly
Even I would have my system meltdown
every now and then.
3 weeks, and then I will be trading in blind.
Yeah. So you still need to know how to trade without any system help,
I
right?
need to somehow I need to find memory, just recall how much is my risk, how much risk I
Exactly,
have on,
yeah.
and then I know from now till market shut, I don't have my system to
Yeah.
game on, and I need to call up 3 different people to tell me where have they been executed,
Sure.
and then I need to maybe sometimes need to be certain. I need to balance my portfolio within that 2 hours. Then
Yeah.
I need to in my head or using a
Yeah,
spreadsheet
good mental model. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Yeah, excellent. I think this is a pretty good, interesting development, right? Because humans are still very much needed.
Yeah.
Just because you need to handle like emergency or like shutdown scenario, right?
Exactly.
Great. But it also means that your job actually becomes a bit easier. You don't need to handle the like very repetitive type of work, right?
Or it's actually harder.
Yeah.
Because you are, I'm not expected to handle the repetitive tasks. I'm expected to handle the critical tasks.
Critical and
Yes.
unpredictable.
Exactly. I'm being paid to
Sure.
sit there to handle the critical and unpredictable rather than the repetitive, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I think it's actually the later.
It's later, yeah, but then it just means your daily job. You don't need to just repeatedly work as a factory worker. It's like a much smarter type of.
But then you end up sitting there to daydream 5 hours a day. And
but then you have sometimes 1 hour is like hugely important.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
And then when is that 1 hour?
Sure.
But
You never know.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Right. Okay. That's the value I think. I think of the job, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Okay. Next part, because you also apart from doing trading, I think one very interesting thing in your life is you live in Middle East for 10 years, right?
Yes, over a decade now.
Now it's becoming a very popular destination, but then with your experience, maybe you can also help others to learn about the work and life in the Middle East? How would you say maybe pros and cons when you after so many years there?
I think pros is like the definite pros is really the no income tax. Like
Yes.
it's
So
Hong
it's
Kong,
zero income tax, zero
so
capital
far,
gain, right?
yeah,
Is it going to change?
Unlikely for
Unlikely,
now.
okay.
Unlikely for now. Like it's a very low tax environment, so
Yes.
it's a definite pros.
Yes.
Lifestyle is actually really great. Like I was joking with my wife like 2 days ago. It's like, I've never thought of like we were talking about how working in Hong Kong is good. Like we went to Pacific Place for lunch, and then we're like, okay, if we didn't work in Central, we don't know what these places are like. And then I was like, how? I can't imagine myself not working in an office that is not in front of the beach. So
Oh wow.
so
So
like
your office is in front of the
yes,
beach.
yes. So there's beach view in front of my office.
Is it common?
So it's very common in the Middle
Really?
East. So,
Okay. Wow.
like Middle East is a desert, but
Sure.
doesn't mean that there's no beaches.
Sure.
So yes,
Okay.
I if I really want to, I can go to the beach every single day.
Okay.
Because I work Asian hours and
Great.
I get up early.
Sure.
I finish work early. It's not as competitive, and their pros are also cons. It's not as competitive than in, let's say, Hong Kong. The pressure is a lot less.
Sure.
People are generally very relaxed and not as driven than in people in Hong Kong. So
Oh really?
like
You mean the locals, right?
not just
The
everyone.
expats also?
Yeah, like everyone is very relaxed and not necessarily driven.
Yeah. Sure.
As in, not I'm not saying like not driven in a sense of like for the sake of driven. So
Sure.
like people who do things being productive. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think the cons would be like the progression would be relatively slower than
Then
Hong
Hong
Kong.
Kong. Yeah.
Just because you don't have that much opportunity to work in other firms and how the career mobility is not as great. So I've been working the same firm for over a decade now.
Yep.
So yeah, maybe that's a cons. Or another cons is you're quite far away from home, so it's for young people it might be tough. Like now I have my family with me over there, so and it's a great place to raise a family. So yeah.
Another positive is that you do have helper, right? If you
Yes,
go to
well,
UK, you don't have
yes,
helper,
exactly.
right?
So you sort of have a very cosmopolitan city, which is you get to know different types of nationality in the city and be in a very cosmopolitan environment while you get adequate help, very reasonably priced. That will be another pros.
Sure. How about getting along with the locals? Because a lot of these countries are Muslim in general, right?
I think there's absolutely no issues. Like it's a very open mind society. I get along with locals really well. Part of my job is to train up locals.
Okay.
So I get along with them really well. We'll go on business trip together.
I see.
Yeah, so there's nothing sensitive. Like, of course, there's certain topics you need to be sensitive of. They're just as in any other country.
Any other, right?
Exactly.
Okay. But not particularly difficult.
Yeah, not
Okay.
yeah.
How about the major destinations in the Middle East? Apparently, Dubai is probably one of the most popular. Abu Dhabi, Riyadh, etc. Are there any differences between these like cities, or what are the major top choices
I would say,
and their differences?
Yeah, I would say Dubai, Abu Dhabi. I would compare Dubai more very similar to Hong Kong. And
Dubai
then,
is similar to Hong Kong. Okay.
and then Abu Dhabi is very similar to Singapore. So
Oh really? How so? Yeah.
Singapore is very family friendly.
Okay, sure.
Just peaceful, and then people. It's
Okay.
not like
Dubai is like a fast pace.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Fast paced party scene.
Okay, more people as well.
Yes,
In terms of, okay,
yes, yes.
population.
Yeah,
okay.
population Dubai, I think it's around 4 million.
Okay.
Abu Dhabi, like 2.5 to 3 million.
Okay. How about Saudi? Is Saudi a popular
Saudi,
place these days?
Saudi has not yet been a popular place, but
Yeah.
there is a few HKUST graduates been
Yeah, that's
moved
what I
to
heard. Yeah.
moved to Riyadh for certain projects. So like,
Okay.
Saudi might be the next big destination in the next 10
Okay.
years. But so far, yeah.
Do you think, because I think a lot of people are trying to find a second residence or a second passport for whatever reason, do you think this is a better place than like Europe or Southeast Asian countries?
Yeah, there's a golden visa scheme that
Yes.
is in Abu Dhabi or Dubai, UAE right now.
Yes.
But then it's not a passport per se.
Yeah.
So like you're allowed to stay within the country for 10 years.
5,
if you
10
have
years,
the-
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So if for longer term planning, like still obtaining a European passport or UK passport or maybe Canadian passport would be better for people looking to build their life in other countries.
So I think it's probably a good alternative if you don't want to like be get stuck in the UK just to get a
Definitely
passport
Yes.
citizenship, right?
It's more just for the lifestyle, lifestyle consideration rather than for a
Safety.
immigration
Yeah.
immigration
Yes, purpose.
purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Wow, that's a very very interesting. I think a lot of people are considering, or because of what the area has been trying to attract the finance industry
yes.
to move there, right?
Yes,
So
a lot of hedge funds are opening up in the UAE for
Yes.
the past 2 or 3 years. I think majority is because of the tax advantage. So
okay, okay. Sure. Okay. Now let's go to the last part of our interview. We usually start with asking from your stay in the HKUST QF program 15 years ago, what was the most memorable thing?
the most memorable
Just the one thing that pop up in your mind.
Now, there's too many things that happened in HKUST that maybe ask me more specifically. One thing that pops up in my mind that impact me the most, or like the most memorable.
Just something that you just remember.
I just remember we do. Maybe you need to cut it out. We just bully each other.
We just bully each other.
It's
Yeah.
bully. No, it's just we bully certain people, and then we
Yeah.
still be friends. Like almost 20 years later.
I think that's the way
Yes.
people make friends, right?
Yes, exactly. That's what you do at work as well, and
Yeah.
especially that works well in trading floor too.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I think that doesn't look like a textbook answer, but
Yes.
maybe a very the real answer.
Yes, that's why I don't get high CGA because I can't give out textbook answers.
Okay. So how is your connection with your cohort after graduation?
I think it's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
I think there is still 8 to 10 of us still have regular.
Sure.
And me and Chiho talk almost every day.
Yes.
And then there's like 5 or 6 of us will meet up like once. Like for me, I do meet a lot of my like the cohort that I have
Sure.
in my year. So I
Yes.
think for me it's a tremendous what is it, experience. It's a lifelong commitment to the quantitative finance program at HKUST.
That's great. Worth mentioning, we also have our 10-year trip to Vietnam.
Yes, we did. So it's almost time for a 20-year trip.
Yeah, too old
Yes.
to talk about that.
No, it's 20 years, then we'll come to the Middle East, right?
Okay. How about do you have any suggestions for our QFAA Alumni Association now? now that we have the Hong Kong, most people are still in Hong Kong, but then they start to spread out in the UK or maybe like gradually more in the Middle East. Do you think maybe like there's something we can do in the Middle East or overseas just to connect those people?
I think right now,
Yeah.
like you guys been doing a tremendous job, like to connect. Like even if me, who is not in Hong Kong, being able to speak with Chiho, have the pleasure to come in to like just share my experience and or just I think like keep us connected with the community. Like I think Chiho been doing a great job building up the community. I think the QFAA does not necessarily need to be found by people who are in Hong Kong.
Yes.
So people who are in, let's say, I'm pretty sure there are people in the States, people in London, then we can build up like a contact list.
Sure.
Like, so that we know where to find each other. Like so that like if anyone needs some help, like or questions, feel free to come reach out to me like regarding anything Middle East or whatever, like equity trading or I don't know, like Muay Thai, MMA, like
Yes. So that comes out to our next question. What do you do to relax?
So after I finish work, then I probably spend 1 hour in my work gym. Like I work at this work gym, and then after work, and if I have time, and I don't have to look after my child, and I go to train Muay Thai or Jiu-Jitsu. That's how I
Jiu-Jitsu.
Jiu-Jitsu.
What is that?
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a martial art.
Yes. Yeah.
So you don't do Taekwondo now?
I stopped doing Taekwondo.
Yeah, worth mentioning, Jonathan is a pro in Taekwondo.
I'm not.
He's actually a walking weapon.
No, I'm not. So yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. So you're still heavily involved in different types of martial arts.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Last question. How do you manage your own investments?
My own investment is quite sporadic. It really comes with time. Even though I tell people passive equity investment for the long term, if you're young, or ETFs are the key, but I'm not following any of the advice that I want to give to people. So,
That's very true.
Yes. So, like me personally, is mostly heavily in real estate at the moment. Yeah.
You have a lot in Middle East, right?
Well, not a lot, but yes, I have some exposure in there. But naturally, if you are in real estate, then it's a function of my age and where I am right now.
Sure.
Like then it's because once you are in real estate, then your portfolio is naturally skewed.
Yes.
Towards real estate and inevitable, and if you don't take advantage of your age to leverage.
Yes.
Then you, as you grow older, you
don't have the ability.
You don't have that way to build up your, because of course I'm not saying real estate is difficult, but it's just the circumstance that I'm in forced me into a situation.
But do you so you invest in real estate across different places?
Oh yes, I do. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mainly in where?
Will be UK and Middle East.
UK and Middle East.
Yeah.
Okay. It's super interesting. So thanks, Jonathan, for doing the interview. And he is very special because he is working in the Middle East and also equity trading, sovereign wealth, and there are several of these interesting categories. If anyone has interest, he doesn't have LinkedIn, so you probably can't find him on LinkedIn. You can always leave a message here or contact us.
Yes, you can contact the QFAA, and then they will give you access to me.
Yeah, that's the only way.
Yes. Yes.
Because people like him pretty secretive, I have to say. So.
I'm not secretive, but just try to avoid people finding me.
Yeah, no cold calls. Okay.
But people will be able to find me if they want to.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Yeah, so see you next time.
Yes.